they can just, go to town, either insulting somebody or sometimes on the limits of hate speech. Yeah, and these are things that in the whole world, people are beginning to look at and say, how can we regulate hate speech? How can we regulate, extreme foul language,
Look at that Lumba. Osrano bo we get time bin in Ghana, a jantira nyom, since so born, you want him that Lumba or Ghana. When we say we lead any positive pact. No. Or chairman kwasia for the time, we do not be born kwasia jantira nom, na enquirani di or namhada di Lumba, but so the Namasan or Kus or chain. Since so born, you want him that Lumba or Ghana. When we say we lead any positive pact. No. Or chairman kwasia for the time, we do not be born kwasia jantira nom, na enquirani di or namhada di Lumba, but so the Namasan or Kus or chain.
Way since then, but are unregulated. And so sometimes they go to the extreme. The language is filthy. I mean, they can just, go to town, either insulting somebody or sometimes on the limits of hate speech. Yeah, and these are things that in the whole world, people are beginning to look at and say, how can we regulate hate speech? How can we regulate, extreme foul language,
And when I find myself doing canama than moi, I hear agbewi. And I want to fall free. I want to crumble and crime. I'm not than kwasia for. Or to I want to find myself doing canama than moi. I hear agbewi. And I want to fall free. I want to crumble and crime. I'm not than kwasia for. Or to
we are not going to take care of Ikufuado. Last but not catch them. We say Kufuado be body to Obian Kuno or not within 6 months or no, the pony be Kuno. Nane Kufuado, Obeyare, Obu, Obian body to Bonnie Kufuado with Dino, Ebe Kuno.
Gavin Taylor. Now,
way since then, which, and so it's just an issue I'm raising so that all of us can begin to think drives the discussion in the morning. So they become a very important part of that segment, but are unregulated. And so sometimes they go to the extreme. The language is filthy. I mean, they can just, go to town, either insulting somebody or sometimes on the limits of hate speech.
All right, welcome to the reason so we say for me church obia. Baby out to be out to me kabia me chia pa. Yatena say my late kakra nanso so na me twa information bi. Papa ya odasi wo ye the president of this country. E na see de na ba. Twa me wa ha say. Pacho she page no ne yanto so wa ha say ne yankoye nim. Na yatena say na me twa se obeka sa wie. John Mahama, what do John Mahama think come be? Na ye dimun sembe prem. One was saying ye was say, oh hiam paibo. John Mahama se munya fast manon. Bosu kenasu oh hiam paibo. Munya fast man because diakono imwaya ding. Ye be sem ni yatrim. Na oti asemo kan ye. Na Ghana phone central phone Ghana Journalists Association no NNSia. Na me twen say me pesa me tie the reactions and the attributes of this president, John Mahama. And you tell me check a crab, Na utin some more kind. Mahama say, Wabe president, who said in the social media, and you pani be kasa ne filthy kasa fin hate speech or time age and I'm kai present we okay die eti John Mahama you okay say da bay eno hunu say ene de enkoda ne kasa ne bi ye filthy Mr. President o kroimu wo yesa ya beke kan adua kire no na ebuo ni entity a ye wonti enu tina ye kan asam a emra ye nyede ye ndidi natem but say John Mahama see today senani atimi abie amana hunu say media no so which is the social media no most of the people are using filthy words hate speech and today no obeka dia Mr. President who is shame to this country and who is hypocrite to this democracy Mr. President who is hypocrite to this democracy to the sense say you are telling us today say after what to say enipa bi use filthy words and use hate speech meanwhile there are a lot of boys womo report to chere say womo your boys Mr. President ma di hu yawo na ba bi yetete mi ntina mintimi nyu sa filthy words ni bi ma wo ba bi am yetete mi ntino mintimi nyu sa filthy words mi fa ma wo but enkoda woma se woma no on authority they speak with impunity and today what by our power womo keka wadwe kire mpanimfo opani bia woni andi sinya adwene bia no such boys these boys we mu atwini pa gina ho ehoro wo mu e wo media no so and today John Mahama said ye today John Mahama said ye some man for keka no bi eno wo hye won enu tina say one more police for chicheche nkoda no now abusafo ntie me de atia ne say in journalism you don't need a license to do journalism no country be anywhere yamo a journalist license ebi ni wosa ejuma open job or obia obetimi ayebi so you don't need any certificate you can do your journalism so pa voluntary so pa and obeko for training so social media they don't need any certificate or any organization that is why we call it mass communication obetimi akọ school akọ study communication studies or mass communication obetimi akọ journalism obetimi akọ broadcast media but say unko ya nothing stops anyone say obe chere ne talent assembly woni ti obeka nothing stops you no school and ye kokko say one na in charge of issuing certificate for people because before they can become journalism no way enya any wiase bia but the point is say in as much as ye nipa no and ye also ye nya regulations ade ye no papa ntini ye wo media for ye wo GJA Ghana Journalists Association a voluntary open now joining most people don't even like them because anytime media fall back into one umbrella no the government of the day tends to control them so it is important that is why mass communication is important say everyone can do their own job from their own quarters without regulating them moment you attack or you try to regulate them no it becomes part of the government and the government can control it and until traditional media is dying in any country because corruption when the leaders are the political class and not try to do corruption now you can't control them so the media cannot criticize them because they control them but in social media you can't control the ubinka that is why you have free speech and you can't attack it so today John Mahama strategically Adi Akufuado antimi amfanye doma person or person attack free speech or in the name of say afen wo hunu say filthy words and ugly words terrible against our democracy today today now GJ for no woman is so diabolic very terrible people to the sense say woman ko no mo pe no kra they will rather tell Mahama said these are your boys and this is what they have been doing on social media and it was good for you when you were in opposition. This is very sad. It was good for John Mahama, a brand no opposition. So Mahama wanted that. Said you say, or your communication expert, no, wanted that. Say, Nemrantiano, and you so filthy words against the opponent. And today, you are arresting people here and there. And today, your government is arresting all media, whether social media or anybody over cassette or by watch much. Meno say. Two ladies and Kodami ya omachwom eko 1 month ni and then who said GJ ban afen matter say sia mo bail As someone detained one for 2 weeks, all because of someone cassette the president. And Kodani come out for Omuni MPP, Omuni will be just say, dear Echo so a young mote and Omachro Madrin, Yacho Matum, Echo 1 month. These are the girls. Say I may share news up, may pardon and because who say, after na Yamo Mupeo. So I'm commentate, Ewo helicopter or say, and this phone moving to Yachiwomo. And that says, I am and I'm a case no. Or madam of almost a month after Yamo Mobile. In which contest in this country? Anna, obi you saw a broadcast media, so what Chelena yet me chinitum. It in there, and this year by so Chelawaj, just 2 country name, ultimate country name. And John Mahama said, ye, or pretend yatra say, why ye day, or safeguarded the media, or a strategy to curtail or to conquer free speech, and it's no way sadianum. Namudi Mo lawyer, Montrase, Mo lawyers, and Montrase why. One day, Obetania Babaso.
One patch of bandit, the way. Charity. Now, issue we buy what is supposed for a friendly. Send an old fan, we am sure 5.
Miss Susa, Minidi. Nay, my real hope, we knew a beer over the mechi.
And this are Enkoda young girls who and this are by detaining Kudai over 2 weeks because almost set to judges. So criticize your buying a pair near Pekwa be so near the walk of shame. It today, or be out the country will be a person or come Mahama 7 or Omedo or Metuatum by force. Very terrible system. And today, John Mahama say, what often one who say, and you probably use 50 words and hate speech. Really, Mr. President, we are disappointed, pa. We are disappointed. I mean, you just we ashamed to this democracy, say, oh, pretend too much. Now, baby, a titi yen intino, and a yen timin use sakas a fini bimam. Now, a day, ubenya, ubeshia or square, or moment to no corner, sir. What I say? Aquawe, and your Akurano. Aquawe, no Akura. Akurawe, call up Obia, no Akurano. Or Kassa de Mama, a day. Or Bagana, see how a national security moving this guy here and there. Ayo fair. Obi also nimra. Nay, Obia issue bench warrant. A bench warrant, yeah, but or money to meet tenacity to bench warrant, who go to court and answer your questions. Was it though? A buy it to me for a funny way. Nipani to move for say, Mia, a airport one you bet me. Yachime and Yabonio, a chose a black court in the US and Yabone. But it's the end is you destroy the law. And today, John Mahama telling Ghanaians say, after the Wahunyansa say, and you probably used to fit to us on social media. You can't regulate social media. Allow them. And that's what we call mass communication. No one have the right to be regulated social media. It's not true. And you know, be irresponsible. If say yesterday they were responsible and it went well for you, it was going well for you as a John Mahama. Today, it's supposed to be the same way. Such nonsense needs to be stopped. And young one say, President Mahama say, I feel what to say, I'm for you, a cassa no, she and the president. Now on your president, and I could I, Sabo, we have smoke lumba. Utia lumba, you and this for some more support to boy, and Mutia lumba, you and Moma Pampaso, Mutriso, and Painu Mutriso, Pampaso. Munti Tiasmo catcher could do for Sansan will be Tiasmo catcher.
But damn. Look at that lumba. Australian bo we get time in Namgana, a jantranyum. Since so born, you want to name that the Lumo Ghana. When we say we lead any positive pact. No. Or chairman kwasia for the time we do not be born kwasia jantranom na enkwani di echire or nam hada the lumba abos or the namasa no ko so train. Since so born, you want to name that the Lumo Ghana. When we say we lead any positive pact.
So we end this in John Mahama. Also we ukuta information, more intelligence on the media. Now kwadofo so compare we kwadofo since our boy we say a pobio impact. Now lumba wuna se musua ebe bom tiri so empai guma no amon tafre be gumu na ase na boy we ono ne record ye deya say what the American ti boy we ono ankasa brabe no mapo hwasemo kan ye all because of say lumba abonyo the MPP na yete asese ai me enam say me ya kan ni yetete me nti no me nyi sankwase na see obonyo the man this da bia obia ni problem MPP ni bia mfa ho na si bonyum di ma MDC da bia what say the MPP ni bia sore say na si bonyum Mahama nti no yenkodi natem na se nyenkwasiafo party ti say NDC nkurasefo party a say we no to say Lumba bonyum Kufuado nti no Lumba ye useless. My goodness, ti Lumba be so wotwen obia no obenyina chene bo obia no obenyini achene bo Lumba ko di aka chire ne yehwe eti sakoda we boy wetimi no wono hu ne record bi hu de wo ye bi na wono timi from Lumba na eye mo NDC joma ama na ye wote na wani age ye se wakoda no NDC akoda di Mahama wo ho wote ye na wi aso se obesa yade na ho ejina nra wonim se na obeka ye yasem ho esenka o condemning de mo ye se wan condemn pe we use this as an example ebi na me ye kire no se Mahama pese o ka kire mo se afa no no na ne bia se as a communication so ko minini na esenka o condemn se eniemo gwani we nkoda ye de nye sa na obetumi akan ye de nya sa de a don't try say obeye say oh police for mo ncheche obi a o ka asem tia me eye sa jabre mo yare mo adwene nya dwuma eti a strategy be na dia set team be na ye de chichi amanfo rough on now abusia yentie Mahama ho asem o ka for media na oni sa GJ akohwifo ni hia such a weak society, weak organization friendly GJ, you know, and you me say, and found crown could you say could come and you be that. Men join it, all because so join they regulate you, as to the government of the day, and men join the Ukraine. Sa GJ, no, a corruption organization, more beyond joining yet. Yentia some Yamoko, Mahama Kai.
Since then, but since then, a lot of things have changed, and one of the major changes in the media landscape is technology and the new media. And so we don't have traditional media as we knew it. In terms of media houses, you know, you either had a newspaper publishing organization or you had a broadcasting organization. The media has become a bit decentralized. And because anybody who has a phone and a camera can report news to the public. And it means that communications is dealing with a wider range of people, not only traditional, well-organized media houses, but also individuals, especially the new group called bloggers, who go to events with journalists and vie for positions with them to get the best shots and the best stories. And they just go with their phone, edit, and then they put the news out. So the media landscape has changed and the sources of information has changed. And in many cases, it is those people who are setting the agenda, because for most of our stations in the morning, they're taking a lot of news from what 1957 covered, or what GH something covered, and they have all these their little inscriptions they put on their videos, and that drives the discussion in the morning. So they become a very important part of that segment, but are unregulated. And so sometimes they go to the extreme. The language is filthy. I mean, they can just, go to town, either insulting somebody or sometimes on the limits of hate speech. Go to town, either insulting somebody or sometimes but are unregulated. And so sometimes they go to the extreme. The language is filthy. I mean, they can just, go to town, either insulting somebody or sometimes on the limits of hate speech. And these are things that in the whole world, people are beginning to look at and say, how can we regulate hate speech? How can we regulate, extreme foul language, And so it's just an issue I'm raising so that all of us can begin to think about it. And the point is, would we classify them in the typical sense of journalists I mean, those bloggers, are they typically journalists? You know, those are all questions that must agitate our minds. It has been, like the president said, we've seen a consistent decline in our ranking, international rankings, and that is an issue of concern for us. And part of it is
right. Yantuaso eti chairman yebeba na asem so but yenyina asem bi oka no ase. First of all, Mr. President, the word journalism is subjective. Why? Ontimi onya wona obed describe bi so a journalist or not. Enya wa onipa bia no that capacity no. Because in a matter of people organizing information, news outlets, and you want to the omonye. So I say, but when they become under a control, that is where you get journalism. And to be able to find journalism at anyhow. And at the end of the day, the results anybody determine. First of all, you don't need to even classify Obi or produce news to be said by falsely where a journalist. Because journalism, it comes from those who writing, speaking, and then writing articles. So Obi writing, Obi broadcaster, all of them to classify as journalism. They are all broadcast journalists. So the point is say, they watch them, they walk us, they watch them, and they walk all cancel the uncle. It's such interest will be a part of GJA. Any book be and America can say, you don't need any certificate or anybody to tell you who's supposed to be a journalist. No, anybody a choice. And I'll say, you want to study something somewhere, or you want to have a training from somewhere. That's all. But when somebody want to speak or want to say something, and on here says why a journalist answer, you don't need anyone. Say we're being or say no. So that's why those called bloggers or vloggers or such mass communication, no one need to control them. They know what they are doing. And then I catch it say, so Obi GJ need to do whatever. In fact, even the traditional media now, I join organization called Journalists Association. They can't control them. They can't control the traditional media. Look at the propaganda, the diabolic, which they set every day. It's important say in every society we should leave the people stay back so that a better watchdog to the government and to the people. Because when say Oko Johnny GJ na easy for them to control you. Because the government of the day can manipulate the system, manipulate the institutions and organizations, especially in Ghana. And until they fear the social media because you can't control them. They fear them. In every country they have to leave because so we are the social media for no enka one year the yentino moka. So we are the and komunka. Eti say abano koye abano de eko chichere sa GJ no a easy say on be compromise wom and Ghana here sa bogo GJ for here on compromise wom. They can't do anything. They can't criticize the government. Hwaniema ekoso what say GJ a massive press conference against Islam. Hwaniema ekoso one so my they can't do that. We have functions. Me class forms we bogus. They are there for party tea we omawie ombeko menhia akonom tea no makochia yeura na omakojeje nchia no makotwitwa pictures yes na omakoprete prete awards but when it comes to the job one more enjoy any group na adwuma no those who don't join this organization na adwuma kase one more wasa kuo no none of them and even phone they know how to access it none of them crowd nim say they see production crowd none of them a cake old gangsters and I join this group no and utina a collapse egu on say it's in decline GJ a decline organization yes nobody like it and yet John Mahama want to use the GJ to curtail free speech or person free speech and GJ say and you are going to feel the heat. John Mahama be feel heat no and a part of democracy. Media is part of democracy and you don't control the media. No one controls the media because it's part of democracy. So free speech allows the people to speak their mind and we should give thanks to Akufo-Addo. So why are they? Or taking out of criminal libel law, which are always arresting people say, what can we? No. Akufo-Addo, we should thank him. And every government, every president must follow the suit. Say, you have to stand for the heat. You can't say, "Mim prima, I am for Kikoma didn't snabino. We are sa we bodam for cra. What didn't get you man? Nipa be sadiano. Tede mekano. Eti Akufo-Addo. On practicing communication, but on him say democratic systems, we should allow the people to flow. We should allow them. Let the people speak their mind. Because said ya woman open some cancer, the freedom of speech. Tia de Mikayo, so person in cancer the BBC for guard we first GBC here and then one of GBC because said you more can people don't like it. That's why 1 month has me tell say nipa 500 something me GBC over condemn nipa 220 na ehwe so to say because said your person me can no mean can sanchero and the people don't want the work GBC is doing. They don't like it. That's why you part government control on. So the point is say allow the people to speak their mind. They don't need any certificate or anything. Allow them. Don't arrest them. It's part of democratic systems. It's only corrupt people. Those who are corrupt and they fear some people use the media to criticize them. And in Ghana, there's no law that says when somebody insult president, a criminal, but morally, and you're right. Tio, it's not criminal, it's not illegal to insult president, but moral concept we muntino and yet so be the peniatum, patriotic Americano. Eti so be did the media did the president and carry and come bia and it's not Akufo-Addo and this vote did not wanchu bia and this vote did president Akufo-Addo at wanchu bia because only Moran say and yet illegal and yet criminal so be the president at time in the course of your communication. But your moral concept and I say your moral aptitude no way you does not permit us say you be the peniatum. So what I said because of say you tete meaning say we did peniatum as Adam is meaning the bay me and you tina met me a come in any other way without insulting you. What I say. So the point is say obi o man penny be say obi control media no onim say said you make us anyane dey edienti a ndisi for time no me ni watem ba asema meka no eye wo ya ebegura o hwidiem so ho ba me ni di watem on the mention no eti they know and it's not social media now Mahama fear the social media because say social media once all describe met me akogina one corner na ma position me camera na ma twaw but GBC ni no ye control the director control no so want me ntwa de yes wo twa but some ya bribe corruption na metwa e de abeto obonte begu ani mu ase and say see and say me tell say me person me ye ya ban ne fenkwa no any na Kenya government we should criticize the government we must mount pressure as you chastise woman you bo woman tisu no ma pampa sabe ya they always think say there's a watchman who watches the watchman tie the make no so see in the context say GJ ye be no hwehwe ani mu say they want to do anything say they want to regulate social media jack yenye communist country Ghana yenye Russia Ghana yenye China no we will stand and defend this democracy. Omubuada. Otie, a strategy. And GJ for and media, social media and bloggers no because Jack, Mama, why enjoy you? And the about folk and kind of udia why enjoy you? Suban folk and kind of wendo so why enjoy you? Onko da ne matan time ye and a benefit it was a day. Tia say Mahama ye can wait like a police akwachi tia don tia say
Maka some way it will be like a prophecy. Me okumangra makasa. Me say baby a jebi dan kwa wiye no. E hwana na nadu be wo. Me na me catch them.
Enti me catch say ye kan abone ye fo ye nka bonsam nka.
David. Se bonsam de ono na.
Wono bone am ye nyina no. Bonsam na ma ye oye dey. Oye. Enti Akufo-Addo ne de wo ye bonsam by yourself. Yes.
What the tuton one yes why
ya me de tuton wo no a
alaji we no de me sere wa
me che say ade me na America
okay
de Akufo-Addo ye ni kurom ha no ke se eburu na buoku no Vice President Baumianere accident na wenya no. Me de do. Me de papa. The my expecting say I don't want to play any same party game. Me de cause in normal air cost for Ghana ye ka wunti no. Debi ana ubehu. Unum pito unum sefufu dia waye 3. Na ori me ko dia wini beso nsuo. Say onsu.
Who said we are not going to take care of Ekufuado? Last but not catch them. We say Ekufuado be on body to Obian Kuno or not within 6 months or no the body be Kuno.
We can't afford to lose more. There was so many way you say. I was see sure Ekufuado ne bawomia. The exit way. Now you're the president Ekufuado Kodina court. You didn't some.
Nana Ekufuado. Obe yare obewu. Obian body to Boni Ekufuado we dino ebe kumo.
Akufuado di obebo man no.
Eti Domama unye nipa nche Akufuado respectfully. Domama unye special person nche Akufuado onko dai mu enema se no mo kan ye. Hwe enema onko da aka e bi ye west mitimi mokra. To the extent say wo mutimi peke ahemfo ehoro wo mo peke a whole tribe do wo matem. Domama you were there. Don't pretend say one thing the course because today enkodan ketenkete kura wutimi ye che wo mo. Yetimi kwache journalist so another presenter free Kumase near the Nashikam near Bulinwa near the Nabakra near the number circuit court. Why you was circuit court to Kumase? Who so nimra? Mr. President, we are shame to this democracy, but we are watching you. We are disgrace. Oteye, don't try say mube fa kwa bisa mba kandipa no ato enye moamo. Mo yesa enipa be kwa kotena different countries no mo to amanemo. Oteye South Africa democracy and obaya abide by the rules and regulations of democracy. Men pretend na obia ni ohia GJ bogus institution a weak institution. Omo sorry no mako print glasses be award be na GJ awards enkosi hwe nkokrafo oguo no most of them no adwen ko down. Omo nim de koso. Tell me say traditional media ebe collapse enche. Mahama no confirm say no social media for a set agenda because a one run fast. That's what we call mass communication. Run fast and your traditional media no. Eti the attorney say John Mahama abobonia odia no unia ubetwa asa no wawu. Ubetwa because I have saboy way NDC adwuma no yema wo odidi mu atedidi nipa temba sabasa but ye kase ye bia wanhwa unya ni chie. Because ya sade na no ya no ya se ya no bi ba ye tete ye ntia yetimi nya sade no tia se mama wo tia ha
mfantofo ne yankwasiafo ye ne mfantofo ye bi ye jimo mpese me ko western region ahantafo no omo de mo jimi times 2 ahantafo no de omo jimi no plus 30 western region omo kura de kan Oti Elmina, Oti Cape Coast, Oti Commander, Oti Mankasim, Oti South Pond, Oti Aya Winneba, Oti Aya all the way to Asindompim, Aya Fosu Central, Ututia NDC, we are boa. Omu Cape Coast, Omugu, Asin Honomokohe.
Eti, Domama, wo hodia yesrew, unya ni panchen obia, Oti Eduabobonia udia no, ubetwa so bansa no wawu. Because when someone mo kan ye, webewu say today. If say people are also threatening you this way, Obama police and kwache wom. Ja munya ni panche obia o. Na bibi na akote ba yira humem. Bibi na akote ba yira humem na basa. Munya ni panche obia sa o. Ana munya mo judges. Na ye ya na judges o ya twa no remand. Mo remand no. Dia de nipa na kosim. Sa. Na we mu nyina egu o man nim. Egu Ghana highway ni so and want ho asem. And today they all be say yempe kwamini nto onkora ne fo ho ombe rise and they will hate hard on you. You will pay the price, John Mahama. Sama onkora ne kan ye no omunwe ebi atai pa we Mahama tie wo boy tie asmo kan samo gije ne so ho
Santifoni bi ye moa. Bujina PZ moton ade na mo de mfa so akodi twe. Mo de akodi ejantra Santifoni bi ye moa. Bujina PZ moton ade na mo de mfa so akodi twe. Mo de akodi ejantra fo gonofo. Kwasiafo ejatoma aban na enkotam sika every Bank of Ghana fambrɛ. Wo nana na otama asase ne ma wo no. Wo nana na obutu oba so kɔ no ho kɔji sika. Kwasiafo abuofunu kwasiafo munye sika o pizza tara na koto red my am dross mu kan mun ko school de muni man say ye de ya ton chains akoto red anom kwasia oje se Ghana nyina ni Kumasi pizza mu hu nyina John so mu hu bon John so mu asantefo mbrantie ni bi eni ti na MPP use mu jimi my lucky say jale to ho na mo nda aye ke be hye mo sem emmoa mo jejejeja pizza na mo ton fake belt fake jeans mu wiawia nkofo tutu nkofo bag mu wia na mo akoto red ni jantrafo o pa abansi case store na wo store mu bi mu jimi pizza tabandia na ba omi akwase akoto cement abrewa ko na ho kwaji cement ni bi so so
yo mama sauti ye onsa ba omi ayi nipa o se me koso metumi abo nsam a se de odidi obi yantene matwa so no mama wote ye so wait me se ba omi akwase a and today se yo mama enkoda ne bie venom ne go so se wo ye kwase a Mr President kan kure be ye wode Mr President kan kure se wo mu bie venom se wo ye kwase a we are Kotiboto, we Mr. Ebeyode, but oh boy, we ultimate Casa boy, we opa, you bet me to walk a bollywood boy, no what boy, Mahama, Kessa, once a boy, we sound any communication. Kessa home. Sir, on your campaign, Amawa. Not in some work or comfort opponent to Mr. President, wouldn't mean pass a comment say, a beer makoda way, a dear way, a tribal sentiment or deba, the whole tribe, did you own atem, Mr. President, one tell us him. But we are sure sent ye, yes, I didn't be a winyanity. But yet tea and tea me yes adiano. Say a chanabeso nanka ye sip Mahama ye so kwasia. Na ye kaye ye do ye aseni ni me dinner tem. Mr. President, we okay. And your day. And your day. But as usual, oh boy wait me yes anima when you the chere will be. One can wash today was the regulation.
Koto cement abrewa. Ko na ho kwaji cement ni bi so so e. Ade na mon kom na ho kwaji cement. Emua sa santini a wejimi no. Ode se cobra nko 50. Wejimi up.
Eti, your mama, get ready on. You will pay the price equally. Mama, you pay the price. But only you have to be more professional way. Because you have to see anything. You may hear abuane kwasia, but you have to be more professionally. Eti, munya some pay police for national security say, mo yes adiano. Men pretend oya o pretend sana hu ya he. So, allow us to flow. Let the people speak their mind. That is part of democratic systems. Ekufuado allows it. Baumia as a vice president what tiasie. Min tesa Baumia said omu ye ne say Baumia se munkwachi we minti bi da. Opia no word adanse se Baumia me kwachi wo bi. Omu di na tem. Di woni ne yira tem. Ehro mo timi ka kire obi so ye wawani. Di na tem a. Enti Mr. President, get ready. Afa na train na tu. Ibe mount pressure e de asi so. Because woman won kwa de e tan che bibia. Na ebusuai John Mahama ka sembi ohun mpesa utie se papa we in politically we weak. This guy ankasa no Mahama no amamuo pa de onya de nsam na o kan kura ne yura fi ne ho yentie John Dramani Bosuke na Gonja Mafia.
And so sometimes they go to the extreme. The language is filthy. I mean, they can just, go to town, either insulting somebody or sometimes on the limits of hate speech. Yeah, and these are things that in the whole world, people are beginning to look at and say, how can we regulate hate speech? How can we regulate, extreme foul language, And so it's just an issue I'm raising so that all of us can begin to think about it. And the point is, would we classify them in the typical sense of journalists? I mean, those bloggers, are they typically journalists? Those are all questions that must agitate our minds. It has been, like the president said, we've seen a consistent decline in our international rankings, and that is an issue of concern for us. And part of it is because of issues to do with harassment of journalists and even the unfortunate murder of Ahmed Swali, which caught international attention. And I think that since then, other incidents that have occurred have, diminished our ranking. And so we need to find a way of, one, ensuring that people when they do that kind of thing, face sanctions or are punished. Because once there's no deterrent, they continue to do it. Or aside from that, to educate and create awareness that journalists are not enemies. They are reporting something that is happening.
Okay. So, Mr. President, so what you say in the yeah, on and no Monkasawai. So, what you say, journalists are not enemies, no. Montiasie, Kufuado allows it. Omo allow Emma one o charlatans no mo ye de mo pesa mo ye. So, men pretend say, o pesa wo ye bibi to say, and centrophobia, as I won't wapan no mo chichichin crop, where tie, Gugan and Mosse. And Untuna, GJ for number once on my catch or Ghana. Yeah, safe. I mean, rankings. Yeah, tiaba form. Ghana is not safe around the world because harassment, arresting, and central for broadcasters, bloggers, and vloggers. You too much, and you disgrace to the country. It was a munyamne bafom. Tine tourists for airber crooning in Asobete because we are telling them say Ghana is not safe. Don't go there. Ghana is not safe under John Mahama, so don't try. Okoni ya kidnapo, obiko arresto. Bibiani and the police want to by heart. If you don't go to that country, Ghana is not safe. Answer wa wadiatum. Say yes, your rankings and your buffer, or many when you're safe. Because yet me chin and show for yet you way, near two way, an international media and be here. So won't just say you can't stand the heat. Say president are insensitive. Na on person will be canasem. John Hammond person will be canasem. Iti wape police for and now ya near two. Near two way, near the Yaka, and national security. Esrem akofifo asefo. And as I see a Ghana DNSC, almost about 50,000 Ghanaians are done refugees. Such useless national security cannot go there and fight. Useless police for no politically, political motivated police for cannot go to the north and fight. Useless people. A Ghana for Nadani refugees in Burkina Faso. You can't go there and defend the land. Boko ento kwesiwo police cannot go there. IGP timi dwane free Boko. Na ye che individuals ni ye kidnap wo incarcerate wo to prison. Ye do mo koto detention centers for 2 weeks for no reason. You are here calling say Ghana ye security ye rank above form. Me say Ghana is not safe. Enyam na America predicted onim and under NDC. And we are saying you say NDC and family nyadwuma. And you are here say cancer and central for day. Such useless talk. Otiama and koda NDC for dini patem. Dian and animatem. Eka tribal war. They incite each other against each other. Yetiminya wa hini pemu doma hini incite take kanipa tribum. No one ever utter any word. And then motia say afena mo mahunu nyansa on. Bi chechemo. Me say me na my like you me die. Sa boa ne kwase ade na me fere wo ho. Na nkoda ne be amatinta suko kwa kire mo. E be gemo nsem. Joma ma fi sa se wo ye smart che obia. Otu ne nkoda ye campaign tantan. Hwe kwa mo de akufu ado fa so. Di akufu ado tempesna. Ba umia ne yere, wo mu di wo matem. Want me and can hwe abegina said ye. Sad. Nya John Mahama the video ka nya bo emetai. Okay, can some bebre I just say in fact media no problem with the media. Especially the social media. But and also the SST, it has come to stay. And let your government understand say no one need to regulate anyone in the social media. And in fact, on record, no country obia no mo certificate to be a journalist. Your choice. Opa no wako your media law. Your media no nyina we writing, speaking, on air talent, journalism, broadcasting. We nyina we no wakosia ethics of the game. And your force because your ethics cannot be my ethics. Ti de cannot. Iti opa na okoye. Iti the open course school no. Ya wie. And baby it is no. The tradition social media for the crown o very smart. Social media phone you very smart than the traditional media. They know the game because it is about editing. Now we move on virtual. That's AI. They know more. Crash traditional media phone. So ignore jam no madjuma. They don't need any director. They know because the omo cry far better than the traditional media. No. So man, more be and say we want to regulate them, control them. Otie, Obia and woman has certificate be and flow be out. They don't need it. Yantuaso. Bosuki na warrior and was the Yanshe, Ghana for Meradi. Mahama said, was it pray and fast for difficulties? Difficult tasks ahead of us, Mahama tell Ghanaians. Jomama say, Amamona ya diamano. Say dollar de na enam Bank of Ghana ya 12.5. Abochi eton 16 Ghana cedi. John Mahama said ye. Say Amamona ya din ti Ghana for Mompaye mano. Mumfa mu yefunu. Munya fasten ye mu din enfamano. Fisa Amamona jenensem. Obi afre no. Ghana for mu san say John Mahama obi afre. Obi amfre. Ye Mompaye ma say. Obi ansuma. Una so pese we ye dey obe president. Enya sa. Na untimi anya no ansa wajai. Adwuma hye onim I see Mahama always try say obiti the intelligence of the people, psychological warfare. What the nipa na dwuniti agro. Ko onim say nipa no bebre ne dump in the religion. So they can't think. So oka say yemompa ya no mani age. Eti yanya bibia yenye mpaibo. Na omanya yenim kofo etime dwene. Omanya yenim kofo etime dwene e na je mpaibo chekere oman. Country be and where the Pibo Chicho and Pibo a personal perspective. So what I say, it's a point and I say, so kunya a leader now or yeah and Pibo fasting and Yame Bonsam and whom actually say we failure. Mahama Yakacho said the guy or your failure when it comes to politics and governance. The guys or your failure. It also by or I could for the project and what he did some fun of Uncle Alquino. Nana the Mokon MPP Tiak and Yanada. Se contract and be adwuma no wa hye de ye delay tactics we no anso akogyina ogun ho ani mase we enyo project ya chairman we enya wo dia enyo project obe ya hwe na ye enyo onyo na be ye foforo ne hwe ade mun develop esremo to ne ho toye esrem hwe de why mun ko develop ne ho toye oti ase hwe ni mu eti John Mahama sampaibo nyempaibo opa resign obi amfrew una so person president and out yeto amam mo dia tro beje wo man no free SHS esa we because o ka say untwam esa sa we free SHS no o tia say o ka so mo be women's banking and women banking e we ye twen 24-hour economy ye pese ye twen ye mpe launching bia wo we don't want to see launching no tie de make no ye launch na ye trick every year so Mr. President sa wo hwe na adwuma no so a jato wona koda lodi na to ho na ye ho toye koda to kese ye ho ai emegina be ye mpa bobia koda mama lodi wo na da to kese ye ho na da eno ano eme ha ye obi amfrew e de no e de mpa bo ne de fasting o ma ti bon koso mpanimfo sei ye de o ma ya sha won sa mpa bo de ye de e de mpa bo difficult tax be ya Omanya Kufuado as a Omanya Toho. Systems are put in place when it comes to IT systems, the identification systems, and the whole data. Just continue with it. Sano maybe I. 1 year and mutim yaterre. And I'm to Obaye, Edian SOE. Obay as police for Akufuado Kuwato, Castle Magana Police Service. We, Ukra de Diafo. Who do you lucky man? Obi ne be wu ana na ahye ho. Ye na wo ha. Bibia na wo ye lucky man. MPP hye o man no anu aba na obedwiragu. Omo hye sha na obedwiragu. Obedwira say de tax ne da wan. Tax bia ni ho. Ultimate Magana me to Dubai. Ye de oye ne nhwe. Show us what you are going to do. That's all. Enye kasatente Mr. President. Jadi o cheche ne yabrel. Yabre ne mpaibo no. E de mpaibo. Ghana for so bomb pie and nam se bibiyam. So ko bossa empire bofon kankan we bibiyaw. We am empire bofon kankan. Wo de bomb pie we no. Fa koto nam ho na chinam na ewe didi neda. Wo de bossa empire we Mahama no. Didi neda eno ano no. Go pie wo boy enko bibiyaw. Tie de make kachiro no. Wo koye fast we enkwase fast no wakoye no. Eyem fast fon kankan. Mudi amaso too much. Obi abeji to me 1 year or friend Bible. Age. Na we aso klasa wo to mirika. Say in the beginning na ho ode o. In the beginning na ho tene. Uso wo ye training fofra anopa no moja na no eche na wo bre. Na kam yentwa 3 years cry. Kam yentwa 3 years na maka cha say emu aye de ama wo. Akwa bon. Doma wo bon pa wo. Wa bon. Na we na mudi na che no. President Beni. No be a we startup of fresh startup emoja mono e na wabre e na friend Bible akwa say akwa bia say was akwa we pa wa say hey Mr. President obi amfre wo opa jama mu to ne kone ye ho toye na wa yape e wonu ba bia e na friend Bible ene 2 years de ene akonfo nyina betie street ne so Malam Yohani. Malam Yohani obey import akonfo from India. Edo mo begu oman 1 year pe wo friend Bible. Ene 2 years oba fra India fo nyina ba. Ade be Moses China fo ne ba. Oba te twon ho. Na ba ti India fo no so. Ho na ene kuro ni nyina esum be kata Ghana so ayeka. Ayeka ene ara fo no so be pa. And ya obi abeba bi Ghana ya ayeka say ka kire mu ya ka kire so papa we no o ye odwanfu no the dead ghost syndrome wonu mu eti we koto obama na ye wa wasem ya ka kire mu na mantie say dollar na say obi an cheke dollar na say but obi an check dollar say on say we as twatro masafo ayira da abonten also twatro masafo ayira da abonten but dollar say mumu ame commentary position. And yeah, say $12, $12 Ghana city plus. Mon check my. Yes, mon check mine. Wadama. Commentary position for more. Sarah Boachi. Dollars of fairway. Now, Proud Africa or Hodie. Ucha Troma Safwa Wada yes. Patricia Ajuma say 12.5. Aye. Or say 12.5 for Medase. Ucha Troma Safwa Wada Bonte. 80 years. Mama. Che dollar ni jina ni nhwe chi ni jina ho enye so obi mpesa Ghana be you yes obi say yes set who say 12 Ghana cedi 11 cents me da say pa yes Doris of say yes 12.5 yes eti unim de na o maye Bank of Ghana sikana abroche for Sunday kono sa companies be best 5 wa block wo tap send 1 cent was it best 7 remittance for no wa stop you omo aye yes was say maba be kire mu nya botre ayi Lawrence Ifa I mean okay Mahama nti was say Ghana nti menyo okay kura why John Mahama say Ghana wa ma Ghana ye uncomfortable Ghana ye uncomfortable Ghana is no safe all report e be nyina che say Ghana nye safe why ti menyo comfortable kura why yeah, GCB Edward said GCB 12.4. That's right. Oseko said yes, 12.5 in America. So here be $1. Pound is yes, 16.20. That's a pound. Sarah Boache, yes. Was it they can't do anything. WW. John Mahama, say wo mine no, and na come wasemo. Enya sameta no. Or say wo mine no. Papa ni hiam paibo. Obi a wade mpaibo bebu o man bia che so onye serious. Papa we onye serious. Ya catch up said John Mahama any and this one we empty barrels de denko ya ka montie also friend Bible and also friend Bible and also boss can friend Bible because ya kind of montie eti Ghana for no mo aso na eden ya catch them say papa we woman 1,000 years amamuo no onya de ono se ye bu man de ne de ne ye say propaganda ye ntwetwa tro na ya penkoda bi no mu nimpanifo atam ya wo ya de ba se ye ntena se enwini oman ho no papa we wonya de ya mompa ye magana kakra ya mompa ye buzi ya mompa ye eti yanto aso empire ball we empire ball ai obi busa se na de no mo kan pa jo mi ni mo hwi ba jo mi ni mo hwi wa ba jo ndc empire ball ndc jo mama empire ball say ya net here ai we are confused I say ya ne ye no empire ball we say we are confused I say ya ne bo no empire ball ukofa amamuofo kan ba oman mu say ya net here Ghana for me sumbrebe min kasem wu amfa menko mi sumbrebe min kasem wu amfa menko makofa papa ya besi yeso makofa numi ya besi o man so Ghana for NDC party ye kes enno a so hu say ayi ofanko market ejadem ahye ejadem bruta ahye enano so ame na ejadem Papa ba ye nipa helicopter tim kaja won say hwe boso me beson odi obo say report no monte ho asem enro am nko kwakuo na say helicopter na hwe ase no black box so ko na nya adwuma mo nko che ne hwe ade kwakuo na page ni so wo say helicopter na hwe ho no Mahama ne security fo ni nyina ya we say black box na sem enya adwuma mo nko che no mo nko che ne hwe ade Hey, what a calamity. Munkochi kwa nine. Wasi, anya do report bi abeba bia enkosi hwe atwam. Enkosi hwe. Tiri ye kanu. Eti munkochi kwa na why? So waka asem se wobo a munkochi no. Bosu kena, munkochi kwa nine. Osibu pese ni show no, NDC 4% ni show no, block, omo destroy ni show no, to expose omo. On person omo kana no to ade waka Ibuni guy asem because I report to say Ibuni guy was sponsor NDC sa no mo kire it is how to omo pekwa bia so mo say ni show no omo shutting it down say they no mo de yakete free fa no it was say helicopter na hwe ase no a ku enipa nwotwe no black box no enya dwuma it report to pia no be free America ba em bia It's one on be kata because almost say Mahama no ankrof once omo ka say Ghana for no short memory. Omo short memory to obi ayura fi. What I say obi ayura fi. No Ghana ni no ono akenkan wo de ye de na wo be pe wu a wo nkwase wu okro no wu a wo nkwase wu. Unya wu pe wo nkwase wu okro no. Tina wo na maitu ana bi hye wo ho. Otamaboa wo ho. Obi ko wa kun free enko ba bia. Ode ya di wo machi no manada. Now, yan hwa de John Mahama se de wo say bosu ke na se de ade Cote d'Ivoire government, Ivorian government now feeds over 13,000 Ghanaian refugees fleeing tribal conflict in Mahama John Mahama's hometown. Pachotie ni yan fa ni biu. Cote d'Ivoire government now feeds over 13,000 Ghanaian refugees fleeing tribal conflict in John Mahama, President Mahama's hometown, Bole Bamboy, Savannah region. Now, what was more President Hong? And the Ivorian government, Ghana for Daniel refugees. Ogazi Wang. Any pom, Omo Yastor, Omo, made a move video. Video new. Made a move video, I'm the bachelor. TV3 no kuchai. Now, or Tuana or Sresre. Ghana for na dani refugees ewo Ivorian asase so ne yete ase e na moje fans ne ye cheche media for ho ne ye deje fans akohwifo man a video ni yo Jomama krom ni yo Bole Bamboy what a disgrace to this country baby Ghana edro no Mahama krom no omo dwane Jomama ni krom Bole Bamboy sola ene guwa no Savannah region Omo mawudi ya yankan say ekeka kwa nipa be 100 womu nyina wu over 100 people womu nyina wu nwote wo na modi nsamfum na esiedu nkati atwa nipa kon ho no oyi kon to ho eti se said ya Ghana for no aye refugees ewo Ivoria for asase so Cote d'Ivoire abawe na wo defend no ho obenya problem so wo defend abawe ya woni be guase eti bosu ke na wo ho na wo to wo krom na me eneme ka sembi yenuanu ma mo free wo ho hwe is about time wo ho mo position camera nsimanim especially mo amaba the southern part no amboko school kuma say eastern region ne central ne tadi no tie Asa on tokwa ni ho. Ebufu ba se kra yentwa janto bibiem ye betumi di ano ako abaye obia na obka kwhye bibia. But se ukosirim na se bibia ne na adane ntokwa na mu twagya to ese ne ma dia. Mo amaba ase ha se na me na mo kasa. It's about time. Some for camera. Na mo record videos. Na mo de my ne post. Na wo kan okrom kasa kire mu nuanam say. Enough is enough of the nonsense I didn't was stream. After mu energy towards political leaders in free stream. Most especially the NDC. Because we might take advantage of the voters for a long time. But also we share the development of a stream. Now share political class a gun kraya. Quite disgracing. Very terrible. And this is the time one. Some of you now mu free stream no. Some sorry. The southern part of the country should rise and start to speak against this political clueless. This bootleg as a free stream. Such wicked NDC politicians start talk against them. And yes, sir, mubenya problem. Because as someone say, Sauba then asiase ne yekonto kwa kawo untime tram woninye. So free bomb boy, sagleme, ufri hen, ufri dian. Tamale, Sandema, Binduri, Kurugu Yoyo, Yendi, Babia Fibia, our better south was in. Oba Yakontoka. Ozi Yanku, Ozi Yanshiniama. Also, we are comfortable. Also, when you have school, Ama Hoto. Now, it's the time, says you need to pay back. Now, don't pay us. Don't pay the Saudis. Pay your people, say. Now, freedom of association and movement. So you need to fight for them. And yes, we are selfish. And you ebe both no pampas one kasemwa tak enya ne ebe ko mtoko amamu enya ne ebe ko amamu but omo ye nipa so we need to speak against the nonsense e koso wosoro so eba se ya moba se nanu ye so ma ba be do tachiman omo ma edwane aba ebia be do tachiman bono region omo be ko say cham omo ba ebi ba ofin so nyina uti obere omo ye kana fo utimi mpamo omo tiese ya accommodate omo so but it's about time. Hwe political class a egun kan e free stream bubo bidin hwe obi te say hwan abamba ben martina mito bubo bidin bubo hwan haruna truso omo hwan je bubo Moses Sasaga edian omo NDC mu omo tena political party mu che enso ko mu krom ne kohwe ade udu sola chasa ura beho Mahama no afre hen savannah udu okra urebeho adana mutimu odensa so this is the time SSLM4 no mudi camera simanim don't trust the government, speak against them so that they will know say now we know what they are doing, we know the deal ye beto obadia no mo baba yusumu the NDC na benefit from the people. That's why ye boy NDC 14 no women are benefit from the northern votes all the time. They use them. And today, why don't you speak against them? Say, what about the NDC for so long? I didn't tell you I say. Islam also a land which needs to be developed. Now, as some way yaka say a crusade up for Islam. Justice for Islam 4. Justice for Islam 4. We are going to start the crusade. Yantina say, and woman first Islam 4 didn't near gross. Say justice for Islam 4 and 170 Babeka. So po yabeka. Because enkofo mi mpese yebeka ba yebeka. Now, yentie yenua wo esrem ni wo say asama ya na meka ne da bia no wate na wo asem bi ka kire de NDC ni sremfo nyina ntafo nyina munti ha.
Eye yenua no ma ye wo no yesremo aduru mra e wo se yesisa ya adwene e wo abato won. Enye se ya wo ye north eti by force e wo se ye to ya abama NDC ba ban mu omum one off say NDC bekoso a north yanko ema NDC mbra ban mu a north yemfa ye wede enko ema NDC mbra ban mu a north asu yembu say ho say ebutuo ban na NDC ba north wode amaye ebutuo ban hwe ayi ye MPs omu free north NDC ba ban mu appointment omode maye MPs no edosu chain Asante Regi bebre so yembu say ho say no MPs omu free north no e de be no maye omunya hwemaye NDC so ba ban ma omunya hwemaye research kakra maye hu say NPP ba ban ma omu boa north e chain NDC sa me wo list kakra bi a me pese me bobo so ehwe emputu a NPP ba ban mu omede ma north hwe NPP ba ban mu no Bogatanga Hospital Regional Hospital phase 2 NPP esi oko tolon hospital omusi Nalerigu Hospital omusi Bupe omusi Saraga omusi Garu Tempane omusi Sola omusi Zuarungu omusi Oba Tamale Suswa Tamale Interchange NPP na ye Tamale Airport phase 2 NPP na ye Tamale Water Project eboa ma omote Tamale Petom enyansuo NPP Upper East NPP Sasi Water Project ni buo wa NPP si Water Project ni buo Saragasa omusa si water project Nalerigu Sports Complex NPP si ma youth no ena uko kalua omusi solar plant MI krono ena oba walwale a fubsi walwale fubsi NPP drone center ena walwale na biem NPP SI astroturf Nalerigu NPP astroturf Bungurugu NPP astroturf Trepone NPP astroturf Gagaba NPP astroturf ana project ana any wa NPP ma ema ne ba ho College of Nursing and Midwife ewo Nalerigu NPPC the same College of Nursing and Midwife no Yagaba NPPC ebiem Mampurisi West NPPC College of Nursing ewo ana oba Wungu walwale Wungu NPPC Fire Service Station be training fire service oba North East Regional Coordinating Council NPPC 3-story building ena ekwan oba kwan susu a tamale to yendi to tatale NPPA bimbla NPPA ena boga to boko NPPA so atiase eti me we kura ye kakra bia me ye ya me
okay eti minua ye nua sremni ena wo say ensema ya ne ye kan nye se bia ye tasremfo but it's our time justice for the northerners we need to seek justice for them most especially the NDC have taken advantage of them for so long and about time one as you focus so now you hit them hard MPs free northern region we need to start to now as you hit them hard but asem way we sremni ametaw kanokra mtimetaw eje Joseph we ameta sremni we need to tell them the truth say sremu ye stable o metra sremu a develop o hwe nsase egu ho na yanya politicians na wo motenkran na wo mu dwo manum na wo to seat asisi mansions on consider no srem all because of say osano and some phone na wo die no odi bi nti wosoro on kosi edan wo srem da eti dan no mu si ni srem no enkran ade no mu kosi bi wo and all of fair ade no mu si dan wo send develop wo na owia na wono no timi akɔhye obi a wono wabetena Southern Party echi say kodi di MPP fo atem say asantefo to abama MPP fo wa wo yesa de ne bi jai na wo ku ho ani mu ase na wo ekrobe ne wo kumase a wo asantema mu ani srem yepe esrem krobi wa develop che krobi ya no wani wo ho scientists for na mo yesa ya na mu feel ashamed say NDC di mo ye a voting dogs wo mu di ma ya bato mu nkraman ana mu gusrem ho no mu yusu mo hwe de srem tie ya beto pa no makototo biscuit ni pa no de abrem what a shame sabi no omo person omo ye the southern part ena omo ma ho ayon governable e ho ani je ni hoti se nipa dodo na move but is the south no o say esremfo ni pass ya opa na do omo ye ne say omo de omo baso a omo nya hwemo mo ya beto ba na omo de pampani eniema petty no omo sa de amoma to banti na northerners dominate what the account states and some phone omo de ne soro no eno no omo de ba ase asei mo de amontana asema ye kan mo obi wo beche say me pese political analysis bi na be ka asem no hwe omo ma esoro iron governable so they will come down here just for political interest. It was a asantimony about to aba na NDC enya more vote enya unim de ntia because of the northerners na eba no omo na eto aba ma NDC for no. And they are not ready so me develop omo so. Enya so omo ba no omo ba be develop. No. They don't want to develop the north so that the northerners will come to the south and political gains they will make sure say omo ni asantifona akanfona chep about to no. Wo de montra ye ko obi wa wadwa hwe ye fie ni ye hwe ni mamu. Ye hwe de ye koso. What you say? Eti we seremnia justice for the northerners. Justice for the north and the north for need to develop. As we develop. Hwesika omanya omotenkran. Hwe NDC MPs and ministers go to public offices. Most of them are northerners. From JJ Rawlings time up to today, they are enjoying the government because Jack business omumpe. Because secret natural, they don't like business. They like say obeko school. Now wabeji abai position. Fantastic. I can afford any more. What a business home more. Or school said they business. Abai money and shadampe. So the northerners are benefiting from the government and most corruption. They are doing corruption to destroy this country. Once they can go to, up there to develop their cities. Osimiyanka. Yabeka. Sasemu Yabeka. Why opa to DB up? I don't care. Justice for the North. Me part your commenter position obian tag hashtag justice for the Northerners. Justice for Islam for obian tawom. But NDC take advantage of them. And we need to start to speak against them, which the politicians have benefited from the North. Sa 2025. Na Ghana yetimianya refugees. Ghana yetimianya record over 50,000 refugees. Why? No more brainwash woman. Omo brainwash the Northerners. Omo brainwash woman. Oka hwe omo ntiase. Oba bedu ase okaso beto about the NDC. So the NDC thinks that they are smart. Mahama thinks that we are smart. Esiedu katia, they think that they are smart. Abambaben, where are they? Justice for the North. Lady, me that's a lady one. Justice for the Northerners. Justice for Slim for me that's a Elsie, a champon. Queenie, ubenyina chawate. Justice for Islam for someone mo fa asphalt through ye. Monso munya cement pentimu down where ye. Justice for Slim for anya biano musumu ye nipa. Adey, I'm in New York me that's a Kofi or Facebook for nyamichiamu. Eti NDC adweno omo person mo ye dey. Omo sesesrem for be go as down home more. Omo ma hoye ungovernable. Won say they don't care. Nanka way a national security. Where a national emergency. Also almost because they don't respect them. John Mahama don't respect on one kasanenta for no more. Nasa kayam people now power. Can you hear the sound? Eh? Akufo de ya kaninti. One on pay asem. Ekomako she the same untafo na say. Mun sorry nkasa akufo de ya kaninti won pemasem. Yen mini now. We know this stupidity from the NDC. Tie de make catch no. Mahama no ye turning also omuntafo. Omuom. We a national security. Eso ko declare state of emergency. Say, yenuanum bi entokwanti over 50,000 refugees. Adey. Yenuanum adani ekuma tukofo. John Mahama don't care. And the Nova and Tafuegu abamu, they don't care. And Tafuegu and this simua. Womu enjoy wakrano. They don't give a damn. What is the parliament? Sorry, say they want to discuss the insurgents. Of course, what they're not. What? Omunfi. Parliament is on top for dosu, papa. Omudosu. They don't care. Oko kape. Hey, and wako kan de yanka. Yabeka. Yabeka ne akane china. Enta fosu ye nipa. Enta fo ye nipo to womusu ye nipa. Yabeka ne akane china. Me da se pa justice for entafo. Ghana pozu me da se. Nana Kwame me da se pa. Mum yanka Ghana for ntiase. Se omo ko Burkina ni Togo ene ayi Cote d'Ivoire adey. Na John Mahama nam o fans. Na say ne yebu o man. Say Akufo Addo na wo so a can you hear the sound? Ka bete nwom no. Ka bete say asienu katia mo propaganda. Hey MPP for ya can for it won't penta for them. Say Tenny na president. John Mahama pure Tenny. Ninuya a second Tenny or Tenny ba Elon Musk. Your friend say Ibrahim Mahama. Senior advisor. I ne offer say Joyce Bower, one vice president. Unofficial vice president. Yeah. Na mote ay grandma mote nkade ay mote. But mote grandma anka. Abuja me ba ay mote grandma nkade oh. Grandma oh Mr. Mo ay mo hwe ma me why. Me take grandma nka chepa. Grandma mi hu na che me
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and this year, yeah. That's NDC for you. NDC is a.
Sebeshemu ha de ba ko pe entina ye ba aye ono ye former vice ye former chairman any hello ayezu ye gina mu ha me mamu nyina yiko se aye ye gina ha ye kwe ye gina ha ayezu Choboy. And then Hanumwa, present, former vice president, former president, John Dramani, Mama Antineo Hanum. Ezu. President.
Okay, eti grandma mo hwehwe na me why me pacho me pese me hu grandma me tene nka chapa ayi sese why vice there amambo bi ni amambo bi na afa ne sese me pacho mo hwehwe grandma ma me why na me tene nka oh ye ma me tene nka kura now, the vice president in a force and a force. A vice president is a force. Mammy won't resign on Huntone. I was here. Mammy won't resign on Huntono. Oh, resign on Huntono. Tia. Because I mean, Tassie. Eti Mammy were a vice president pa to all. And a man in Koda at 2 years abontini and tenenka. It was hot. What a country. What a country. Bonnie Ben in Ghana for you deserve this. Justice for Slim. Aqua will Richard Jakpa. Wait. Ofri Slim. Ofri Bolly Bamboy. Gonjani. One Jakpa. Senior Jakpa. Nebano. Nasi for Bini. Also, Uncle Slim Uncle Din Sam Fon. Combatinity. Also, Uncle. Also Slim for the Bakuni Matiamidu Bakuni. Bakosoni, Matiamidu. Also free Slim. Also, Omun Faslim. They don't care. They don't Omu Muntafon. And Tafon and Casa Muntafo. Omu Vianoma pretend say, a Santifone Muom. And Tafo, Omu Muntafon and Casa. And Tafon Casa Mun or Muancasantafo. It will be down one where you won't care. Okokan say, and a Santifo Muntafo. Interesting. Etimum one grandma, my wife. Mompa grandma, my nana said ye. Yentenenka. Grandma yentenenka kra. I do man so I had the sren 1 yam. On yam. Na I software be no casting be was say. Unim the eba. Enche. Was a papa be vice president enche kra. Muntie.
The NDC for ne. That's what you. My name is Bonnie Dina. Julius. Deborah. Ali ono a tribal band.
Ono free Eastern region ho baby.
Good.
Ashanti.
There is something going on.
Hey.
na ono wa yi ne ho ntem
obi your chief of staff
Ali
now your defense
minister ono we say wonye chief of staff in the ramshin dey the vice president honamu na mo so chief of staff o dey say atikrom ha ya yetigan ya papa no ba for vice president no obagie fro oba ne nsem cause letters bi ni nyama bi cause underground ma me na nkasa the letter bi ba bonten very soon e be ba bonten say wono mu personally wa resign
abusa muntie ne ye o muntie ne ye pa say say software Ghana for omojeje so ho enkom say department yate wo say enche grammar the letter paper say wa resign enkofo we muso ya no omukuta fela enya professor spiritual eye fela ne kura wo mu enye woni paracetamol bia boy no woni hwe ba woni eye no omukuta fela eye omukuta fela ai because enkofo no spiritual tabas na ne no mu ye adwuma wo it was say enche kura grandma say wo se yente nka obeba say ma resign eti Julius Debra o say won na on official ai the deputy so ne Joyce Bauer nti enche wo se enche kura we no Ghana we country na a spiritual country na
obagie fro ba ne nsem cause letters bi ni nyama bi cause underground ma me na nkasa the letter bi ba bonten very soon e be ba bonten say wono mu personally wa resign nano na ebe ye hu ama nipa nyina
Alan Chamatin anti no ho na ka wotena NPP mu na ka omuluso obi your chief of staff
Ali
now your defense
minister ono we say wonye chief of staff in the ramshin dey vice president honamu na mo so chief of staff o dey say atikrom ha ya yetigan ha ya papa no ba for vice president no obagie fro ba ne nsem cause letters bi ni nyama bi cause underground ma me na nkasa the letter bi ba bonten very soon e be ba bonten say wono mu personally wa resign nano na ebe ye hu ama nipa nyina